Hey there, YouTube. This is Lucid Prophecy Tarot. Thank you again for tuning into my channel. I appreciate y'all. Y'all really keep me going with this. Recently I've been receiving a lot of downloads when it comes to um, everything. I'm going through a major transformation, and I'm going to start a group called the House of the Ibis pretty soon, and I will be available for willing people who are interested in improving the quality of their life and reforming how they view their reality so that they can change their reality. Um, I want to talk about today deprogramming and reprogramming. Um, there's a misconception a lot when it comes to this process, just because people, they go through shit and they carry that shit where they go, they just stuff it somewhere deep. I know because I do this, or I did it. Um, and they don't realize that the problem never actually goes away. It just gains momentum. Like, I'll give you a very easy way to identify if something is still bothering you, or if you still need to purge something out, deprogram yourself. When you think about something that happened that was not in your favor, what are your emotions? Like, what bubbles up? How do you feel about it? Do you feel sad? Do you feel depressed? Do you feel angry? Do you feel like did wrong, unloved, abandoned, etc.? If any of these emotions came up when it came to that, or when it comes to the answer of this question, then that is an identifier that you have to purge. And by purging, I mean you have to be willing to reevaluate the things that you view to be true for yourself, for your life, and for things around you, but mainly yourself, because once you change yourself, you'll notice that the world has no choice but to change around you. So, deprogramming, it's extremely essential, because if you have a brain and your brain is full of bullshit, or if you have neurons or synapses in your brain that don't connect because you've been filled with so many inhibitors, you got to understand that when it comes to this new wave of information that's going to be hitting the earth very soon, you just not going to be able to receive it because you don't have the mechanisms to receive it, and you have all of these blocks that are preventing you from receiving it. It's just like you got a buffet and you got a plate full of food, and you want to just keep on stacking your shit up with stuff. I had to learn this lesson the hard way because um, I was forced to detach and deprogram and purge and get rid of the shit that was no longer serving me, because that wasn't doing nothing but holding me back and preventing me from soaring. And it's doing the same thing to you if you have stuff that is no longer serving you. And the key to starting this process, I'm going to make more videos on how to help you. But the key to starting this process is realizing that you don't truly know anything. The wise man realizes that once he comes to a point to where he thinks he knows, he truly doesn't know anything, because nothing is stagnant in the world. Not even the shape of our universe, not even how our planet is. Our planet doesn't just sit in one fucking spot and doesn't rotate. The clouds don't just sit in one spot and don't rotate. The trees don't just sit in one spot and don't move. The sun don't just sit in one spot and stay there. Therefore, and we don't just grow to 6 years old to stay at 6, unless we have some type of very rare uh, uh, genetic mutational condition. By this, I'm saying is that if you look at your life and it's the same way that it's been a year from now, that's a problem. Because you should be constantly setting goals from yourself. Goals, they don't have to be huge, but little goals in order to build yourself. And if you can't do that, and if you're not doing that, first you need to identify what it is that's stopping you from establishing these goals and pursuing these goals from yourself. And a lot of the times it's fear, but what's the root? And that's just hard to get to. But once you start to get to the root, you can pluck it, you can pull it out by the root, so that once you look back on it, you don't get emotional, you don't get all distracted, and you don't have all these negative thoughts that tend to manifest in your life. And then you got to deal with a whole nother shitstorm of bullshit, and all your faith and everything is destroyed because you ended up manifesting something that you didn't even realize you was manifesting, just by simply not knowing. So now we have established the importance of knowing. And once you establish that importance and you deprogram yourself from all the other bullshit that's holding you back, people, situations, the thoughts, because usually it's us. Once you detach from that, you're able to reprogram your mind. You discover new coping mechanisms, new programs to introduce into your interface, so that when certain beams of energy, when certain energetic frequencies flow to you and to the earth, you have the neurons in your brain already charged because synapses has already occurred. In the arc that happened, the arc that happens when synapses occurs becomes that much visible, that much clearer. So it bridges the gap. It bridges the gap. Look up synapses in the brain. It's an arc of light, of electricity. At the end of the day, self-accountability is the most important power, because self-accountability gives you awareness. And awareness gives you the ability to decide how you want your world to pan out. It also gives you the ability to decide who and what has power over you, or who actually has the power, because I don't think anything has power over anybody. So it's a process. And thankfully, as a young person, I've been able to learn from other elders and from my own life and my own intuition. These life lessons that could truly help people gain fulfillment, because you can have money, you can have sex, you can have all kind of other shit, but usually people end up still feeling a void, a disconnect, because they don't have any connection with self, true self. And the only way that you can develop a connection with your true self is if you start listening to your true self. And that means listening to yourself. That means following the call of your soul, and not the call of your mama's soul. Not like that, but and not the call of your grandmama's soul, the family soul, the church soul, everybody else's soul. Because once you die, you die. The focus is solely for you. So my advice is to start questioning things in your life that you know that just don't make no sense. And don't stop questioning those things until you find an answer that is decent and that makes sense to you fully. And when you operate like that, you don't have to fear about making a wrong decision. So that's just my piece of advice for whoever comes across this video. Thank you for getting to the end of this video. I really do feel like I have something to share with the world, and I appreciate you if you tuned in and you got this far. And if you click that like button or the subscribe button or the notification bell, you definitely will not regret it. I will be having much more awesome content that you guys can tune into. So guys and gals can tune into. So thank you. And once again, this is Lucid Prophecy Tarot. I just poked myself in the eye. And I'll see y'all soon.